Good morning, my name's Bob Falls. I'm with Black Warrior Mechanical Contractors here in Tuscaloosa, and we were the plumbing contractor for this project. So this morning I'm going to do owner training for the plumbing system. I'm going to talk about 4 quick things: the plumbing fixtures that you have and 2 specialized pieces of equipment. One is the elevator sump pump, the other is the domestic water booster pump, and then I'd like to go over and discuss all the shut-off water valve locations inside the building. So on the plumbing fixtures, let me first say all of the entire plumbing system, there is no required periodic maintenance on any of the plumbing system items, with the exception of in 4 restrooms you have sensor flush valves and sensor faucets, and those are battery powered. The batteries for the flush valves are the life expectancy is 48,000 flushes over a 3-year period, which is like 130 flushes a day. So you should certainly get more than 3 years out of the battery systems. But just keep in mind, the only thing that has to be maintained and changed are the batteries in the flush valve systems. So those are only located, there are only 4 restrooms that the sensor faucets and flush valves are in. They're in restrooms 107 and 109 on the first floor, and restrooms 206 and 208 on the second floor.
So both your gang bathrooms.
Now,
Both your gang bathrooms, your singles don't have it.
Gotcha. So it's the lobby restrooms on the second floor, and the lobby restrooms at CR on the first floor.
and we've prepared a maintenance and warranty guide that we will deliver to Amerson with our closeout documents, and they in turn will give to you with the large package. It has the plumbing fixtures, mostly because generally maintenance is not required, but it does have some troubleshooting and a list of parts breakdown for all the items that require it. It includes your the flush valve and the sensor lavatory faucets. You've got water coolers. You've got electric water heaters. You have 2 types in the building. You have a small tank water heater. There's one on each floor, and then there's one single at an isolated lavatory that's a point of use tankless under the lavatory itself. That is right here. If I can find it. Bear with me. I thought I knew exactly where it was. Let's see if it's...
Looking for your water heaters?
No, the little point of use one.
Tankless.
The little tankless right here. It's right here in these 2 toilets, 89 and 90. It feeds these 2 lavatories.
Security. Yeah.
Okay. Then the other...
The other water heaters are located mostly over janitor's closets.
I know on the second floor it's over the janitor's closet.
And then they feed the rest of the sinks on each floor. You've got a fairly low hot water usage requirement because all you have are sinks and lavatories.
We will have one in the garage, but we have not installed it yet.
Still
That's correct.
working. Yep.
All right?
Are you working on that one for the garage?
Yes, yes.
I want to talk about that after the training.
All right, then are there any questions about any of the plumbing fixtures, or that you would, concerns or issues, or it's standard? For the most part, the manual, it's standard faucets, flush valves, china water closets, china lavatories, stainless steel sinks. All right, you have two specialty items, pieces of equipment. You have a domestic water booster pump. The water pressure is fairly low in this area. So here in the fire pump room is a domestic water booster pump system that provides adequate pressure inside the building, particularly up on the 3rd floor. It is also the pumps and motors are designed to be maintenance free, so you should not have a problem. The initial system was set up and turned on by the equipment manufacturer's representative, was set at pressure specifically for the building. You should not have to adjust it. In the case of an emergency, there is a bypass valve so that you could isolate the booster pump, open the bypass valve, provide city water pressure to the building, but during construction we found it's really not adequate, particularly up on the 3rd floor. So that would only be in the case of an emergency.
Okay, did that booster pump solve the problem of the water pressure to the fire sprinklers?
Oh, fire sprinklers.
Wasn't that a
You're
16?
talking about irrigation sprinklers.
I'm sorry, irrigation.
No, that'll be a different pump.
A different pump. So what, do we know what pressure we have now in the building?
Coming to your pump or coming out of the pump?
Coming out of the pump.
We would have to look. I'm going to say it's probably between 55 and 60.
That's what I was gonna guess.
Into the building is 16.
It's extremely low.
All through construction, it's been between 16 and 20. We've had it as low as 12.
So the booster pump system should not have to be maintained and should give you years and years of quality service. I just want you to be aware that it is there if you have a problem with water pressure in the building.
How's it protected?
Electrically, how's it protected?
Uh,
Is that a starter, light switch, pressure switch?
They're variable frequency drives, and they operate off of a pressure switch.
Oh, okay,
Electrician question.
yeah. Susceptible to lightning,
Could be.
power fluctuations. I don't like variable drives.
Okay.
They're more temperamental than computers sometimes.
The other specialized piece of equipment is you have a duplex elevator sump pump. Now, what that means is the state of Alabama requires that the elevator sumps be capable of being automatically pumped out. However, at the same time, we can't discharge any oil or hydraulic fluid. So the solution is a duplex elevator sump pump that senses if there is water or oil or hydraulic fluid in the elevator pit. And if it's water, it pumps it, it discharges it out a nozzle outside, just onto the concrete or ground. If it detects oil, then there's an alarm panel and a oil storage tank in this room right here behind the elevator, 112B, and it will pump into the storage tank and set off the alarm. So in the case of that, that should not happen, but in the case that it does and you hear the alarm, you know that it's pumping into this storage tank.
The alarm is in
The alarm is in that room. In an equipment panel on that room.
Your oil reservoir room, the door is in the women's restroom.
On the first floor.
Other than that,
Behind the reception desk.
Can you hear us, Kevin, when we're asking questions? Or
Little.
other than that, the only other thing you probably would want to go over is the shut-off valve locations, of which, where did my valve list go? There's. So you'll also receive a valve location list. All of the valves are cold water, and they start with the fire pump room is where the water enters the building, and that's where the domestic water booster pump is located as well, and that's your main water shut-off for the entire building.
And for the purpose of the training video, that room is located off of the front stairwell entrance. Right down here.
Yes.
Opposite the stairwell door, it's the fire pump room.
The rest of the water valves in the building either control smaller areas, parts of a floor. One note, every exterior hose bib has its own shutoff valve, and they are listed on this as well. Typically on the room right inside from the hose bib itself. So we have so this one is your main water shutoff. Then we have in the Social Security lobby, you have a valve that will shut off water to toilets 189, 190. There's also the valve for the hose bib outside the wall there. You have in toilets 180 above toilet 181. This valve is actually over this. Shuts off the water for the west side of the first floor. Then in multipurpose clinic 179, there is is the valve that shuts off the exterior hose bib right outside that.
All located above the ceiling.
All located above accessible ceilings. So
Marked on the ceiling?
they are not marked on the ceiling. Now we could, we've often used a particular color thumbtack, but we typically don't do it without the owner's permission. So we could mark the ceiling tile with a colored thumbtack, if that would be a benefit. Okay. And since there's several things that are above ceiling you may want marked, is there a particular color that you would like us to use?
Do they cut
Blue,
off different
blue
things?
for, they all cut off cold water.
I would use blue.
Okay.
Just a little blue thumbtacks.
Okay. We'll come back and do thumbtacks and put them in the ceiling tiles below the.
Now, I've noticed in a couple of places, right below the ceiling tile, it looks like a little sign, and I saw one yesterday, some kind of water.
What color is the sign?
Huh?
What color is the sign?
Red, white with red letters.
Fire sprinkler,
And there's a valve up under that.
probably.
Yeah, because it
You
has,
should see a sign, though.
I saw it yesterday.
Okay.
It's below the
Okay.
tile. Was it this far? I don't remember where, but
Okay, we'll look at it.
All right, corridor 127, there shuts off for toilets 124 and 126. Where are we? Early intervention 138 shuts off. This actually, this is on this room going out to this hose bib. So for that one, corridor 162 shuts off all of these exam rooms on this side. Then there's also corridor 162 for the outside wall hydrant here. Resource room 118 shuts off an exterior hydrant. Corridor 106 shuts off for men's and women's 107 and 109. And then there's a second one that's for toilet one, for this single toilet 110. All right, that's all of the valves on the first floor.
now, are there exterior faucets?
Right, that's what each one of these is a exterior wall faucet.
Well, and there are
And
4 of them, it looks like. 2 on each side.
there's
and
5.
One in front. And I noticed they have a metal cap over them. Is that key to open it?
And to operate, and they shut off at the valve, but for winter, if you need to change it out, or just it's a convenient service valve inside, specifically on the line for that hose bib. So shut that valve, you don't shut off anything, water to any other item in the building. All right, second floor valves. We have corridor 214. This is where the water comes up to the second floor. And so there are basically two valves there. One of the valves serves the south half of the floor, and one valve serves the north half of the floor. Then break room, those are these two right here. Then break room 201 has a valve for another exterior hose bib at the top of that stairwell. Corridor 312 has a valve that feeds the water going up to the, oh yeah. That's all the valves that are on the second floor.
This is our copy to keep?
Yeah, it is not, but I'm gonna mark one up for Amison. All right,
We have
that's
a whole set of plans with all his markers, everybody marked.
that's 312 is where the water comes out and feeds the entire third floor, and so that'll shut off all the third floor. Then corridor 336, there's a valve here that'll shut off the north half of the third floor. Then toilet 337 is a valve that feeds 337 and 338, which is right here. Nope, right here. Then there's, in corridor 336, there's one that feeds 352 and 353. Then the same thing for this valve feeds 361 and 362. So all your individual toilet groups can be isolated. And then there's one additional one in computer training that goes to this break room sink. Those are all of the interior water shutoff valves in the building.
Okay.
Now, that's basically it on the plumbing system. It's pretty simple and straightforward, with the exception, like I said, of being aware of those two pieces of equipment. Is there? Do you have any questions about any of the plumbing fixtures or items of equipment?
I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well,
Thank you.
that'll conclude the owner training on the plumbing system. You feel free to contact us anytime. You'll have all of our contact information on anything that happens. We'll come take care of it. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right. Once again, Bob Falls with Black Warrior Mechanical, and we're discussing the domestic water booster pump system for the building. The site location has very low inlet water pressure, so this variable drive booster pump system was installed. The control panel indicates the operating pressure here at the booster pump. We were just discussing the actual pressure at the fixture itself. Because it's a 3-story building, you'll lose several PSI at the third floor. So at the actual fixture, it has less than 70 PSI. But the discussion was, if a flush valve were to hang open due to low water pressure, how you could determine what the problem was. And the first thing to check will be the outlet pressure of the domestic water booster pump system. Now, the control panel also includes information that will show other faults in the system. If the booster pump system has low or no water inlet pressure, it will indicate that. It indicates that if a pump fault has occurred, if the system's in an off state, if a sensor has failed, or if the maximum discharge pressure has been exceeded. And all of the description of the panel lights and codes are included in the operation and maintenance manual.
Inlet, outlet.
That's correct.
Okay.
There are also manual dial read pressure gauges that indicate the inlet pressure of the water coming into the building and the outlet pressure of the water going out of the booster pump system. And that also shows where we have a main shutoff valve for all the water into the building.
That's the main right there?
Right.
This is the main?
Either that one or this one will both do the same thing.
Okay.
And there's a normally closed bypass valve that, in the case that something happened to this, you could open the bypass valve and go around the booster pump system. These are the pressure sensors off of the inlet and outlet that control the.
Is that something I need to get a shot of? The sensors you're talking about?
No, and typically this is a maintenance-free item.
So start that statement over again. Go ahead.
Typically this is a maintenance-free item. None of the components in the booster pump system require periodic maintenance. So it's more informational for the operation and to understand what the pump's doing for the system. We're now looking at the elevator sump pump system. It's a duplex pump system. There are 2 pumps in a sump in the bottom of the elevator pit so that it will pump any liquid that gets in the elevator pit bottom. If it's water, then one pump will pump all of the water outside the building. There's a sensor in the pit that determines if it is water or oil or hydraulic fluid. If it is oil or hydraulic fluid, it activates the second pump. That pump pumps to a storage tank in this room. There's an audible alarm that lets you know that it's pumping oil and hydraulic fluid into this tank so that you can take appropriate action for the entire elevator system.
Local alarm or somewhere else?
I think it's local, just local. Just
Okay.
an audible alarm in this room.
In this room. So somebody will have
Somebody-
to tell me that
Right,
there's a
right.
it's beeping in the closet, you know?
Right.
Okay.